Welcome back to Brain Injury Bites. We hope you had a very Merry Christmas and a fantastic New Year.
Hiya and welcome to Brain Injury Bites, where we provide help and advice for people after a brain injury. My name's Brooke and I've lived with a traumatic brain injury since 2007.
Hi, I'm Ashwini and I'm a trustee at Headway Warrington. I'm also a senior associate solicitor focusing on catastrophic injury, including brain injury. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about the importance of not comparing yourself to other people. This ties back a little bit to what we were discussing around socialising and the overall idea of love and belonging, feeling like you need to fit in, but equally it's important not to compare yourself to others. Brooke, I'd like to talk to you really about some of your experiences, particularly around social media. I think it's fair to say that, especially in this day and age, it's so easy to go online, look at what other people are posting and immediately compare yourself and think about what you might be missing out on.
So I had my injury in 2007. That was about the time when social media was kicking off, really. I remember it was like all just starting up. We were just like, everyone was just getting accounts. There was Facebook, there was something called Bebo. So yes. People remember that. And it was something when I got discharged home from hospital. I come back to Scarborough. I was in, I had a laptop and an internet connection, really. And
I had a lot of free time, probably.
And hell of a lot of free time, yeah. And it wasn't structured free time. I mean, I was like in and out of bed. I was just always exhausted. It was quite, well, it was depressing, really. But the one thing that I kept going back to, besides Jeremy Kyle in the morning, which I never do, what you just end up doing. One thing I kept going back to was on this laptop and looking on Facebook on Bebo. And, the idea is not to compare yourself, but try telling that to somebody who's got a week of free time. A week of free time is it's a long time, and so you tell yourself you're not going to, but you always do. Mm-hmm. And you look and you just, to be honest, it was my window of the outside world and my only real way of communicating. And I found at the time I had quite a bad speech impediment, and I used to stutter and stammer a lot, and I couldn't. I wasn't very articulate. My speech didn't flow very well, and I found if I met somebody, I would obviously I could get that like pent up with anxiety that I couldn't really get my words out. But on social media, I found that between every, it's not free flowing conversations that you get. It takes you as long as it takes to type an answer, so you got a few extra seconds at least to think about everything that you're going to say. And I found that on that, I could become, I don't want to say quite witty, but like quite, I was all right. I could communicate again with people. And it was something that I got confidence in. I think people maybe would think I was like quite witty or whatever. And then, they'd meet me in real life and I was just like a stammering, stuttering mess. But it was, on Facebook, I was able to be someone else.
Yeah, I suppose it's easy to kind of curate a persona almost, and you've got the opportunity to delete and start again, which you wouldn't have when you're face to face with somebody. And I think that's the thing about social media, is that people don't realise what might go into putting a post together or putting a response together. But, even now, I mean, we see how people with social media being as prolific as it is, it's not actually that instantaneous. People might spend hours curating the personas that they want to put across, the information that they want other people to see. But you will see it as an instantaneous thing. Exactly,
yeah. And then, for anything, people could go back. And I was a stickler for like having perfect English on my posts and stuff, and so I came across really well. And you get the choice and you get the opportunity to edit what you want to put out, and how you're going to come across.
Yeah, and I suppose, it's an important point though, the fact that you could spend time communicating. I suppose from an anxiety management point of view, there were some benefits there, because rather than get anxious about speaking to somebody face to face, you could take your time, breathe. You didn't have to post something straight away. If you wanted to go back and delete it and start again, you could. And even if after the event you can post something and then delete it. So it can help, I suppose, to build up confidence in social interactions.
Yeah, you don't get the opportunity to see, like, if you've had a conversation with someone, you've got whatever you say it there and then. Whereas if you've had it on social media, you get the chance to look at it, you get the chance to analyze it, what other people might think about it, and then you can go back and you can edit it, and you don't get to do that in real life.
No, but I suppose picking up on that point of analysis, there's also a danger that it can become something of an obsession, and that you can overanalyze and spend a lot of time, obsessing over tiny details, and that could also be quite bad from a mental health point of view.
Be very bad, yeah.
I suppose thinking about nowadays as well with things like Instagram, which wouldn't have been around when you were first recovering. And there, it's all very visual. The point of Instagram is that it's visual. So people do try to put their best selves forward and really curate images that are very far from reality. It's not about seeing the sort of the warts and all kind of picture. It's everything on the best day with all the filters applied. But for someone who's looking at those posts, you don't necessarily think about the many filters and airbrushing and the perfect hashtags that have been put together. You just see an image, and it's very easy to kind of go, oh, that's not me. I want to be like that. Absolutely,
yeah. I'm guilty of it myself. I don't put, if there's 10 photos and 8 of them look quite bad, I'm going to put the 2 on that look pretty good. And sometimes photos look really good, and they don't necessarily even look like me, but you want they are nice photos and they make you look good, so you put them on. And I think it's easy to forget, that's what everybody does.
Yeah.
Everybody puts the best self forward. And so I remember, it'll have been 2007, 2008, I was just looking at there were all these people's best photographs. I didn't think they would be the best photographs. I just thought they were their normal lives, and I thought everybody was just so good looking and everybody had these perfect lives.
Did it make you feel inferior?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess mental health wasn't very good at the time. I mean, I was very sort of low in mood. Whether I was actually depressed or not, I don't know. But I was just, it was come time when I was just getting used to this fatigue. I was just exhausted all the time. And all I could think about was how exhausted I was, how it was never going to get any better. And I was going to be like this. So I was considering being like this for the rest of my life. Of course, you see photographs of people, starting families, doing these things, going on holiday. All I ever saw was people having a great time, and I was having such a bad time. So you didn't really think about it logically. You didn't think about it that these people were having, they had bad times as well, and these were only the few seconds highlights of their week. Yeah. You just saw all these happy faces looking at you, and all you could think about was how miserable my life was. So it was just not good for me.
Yeah. And I suppose, comparing your situation to other people's, and perhaps also that feeling of missing out, that you weren't there having those good times with other people as well.
FOMO, fear of missing out. I still get that now.
Yeah. Hey everyone, this is a short segue to introduce our new home, the Community Compass app. It's a space built just for people navigating life after serious injury and for the families, friends and carers walking that path with them. Inside, you'll find real stories from others living with brain injury, tips for recovery and wellness, and a community that truly understands what you're going through. Community Compass isn't just an app, it's a place to connect, to be seen, and to find strength when you need it the most. So if you're listening and thinking, I could use that, then just search Community Compass on the App Store or Play Store, download it and come join us. So what did you do then to try and distract yourself from spending all your time on social media and comparing yourself to others?
I remember there was like one particular moment when so I'd read this thing online, a brain injury heals for 3 years. After that, the only improvements that you can make are techniques you can use to manage it. And I was just hoping for this miracle, really. And it was like, went right up to like the last night of the 3-year mark. And I was just hoping that the next day I was going to be better. And obviously when I wasn't, I slipped sort of into a bit of a depression. I went out one night and I went for a little run, just like a mile circuit on South Cliff in Scarborough now where I lived. And it wasn't particularly far, but it was something I did it every night at the same time. And honestly, it was after about a week, after a few weeks, I just felt so much better.
So you threw yourself into your fitness, and did you find that was a good way of distracting yourself, or did you find that was another way of comparing yourself to other people?
I suppose a bit of both, really, but it was on the whole, it was good, I think.
Just moving away from the theme of social media and comparing yourself, and just flipping the comparisons to other people. How I hear it quite often that they may be suffering with the effects of fatigue, for example, and people around them will kind of, I don't know whether it's a misguided way of trying to empathize, will sort of say, oh, yes, I also get really tired, or I also have problems with my memory.
I think that's a classic thing that people with brain injury go through. It's to be honest, I don't think anybody's trying to make you feel bad. It's just quite often, I didn't know what brain injury was myself. In some ways I still don't, but people just say that, I think they try and maybe empathise with you, saying that I feel tired too. It was like a tiredness that I'd never known before. It's just like an absolute exhaustion. It's something I've been trying to explain to myself really for a while, but I sort of equate it to, if you kind of, your brain just runs out of energy. It's not just being a bit tired, and it's not a case of you can like man up and you can get over it. I always say that if you can't drive to say London on a $5's worth of petrol because you don't have enough petrol in your tank, it's the same sort of thing with your mind. You don't have enough like energy to get through the day, so you kind of break down. But it's not a case of just being a bit tired.
It's not the same as a few hours extra sleep will sort it out. It's changes to your brain.
But you can spend time getting annoyed. I mean, I spent loads of time getting annoyed, thinking of replies to them. But to be honest, it's just something that they say and they've forgotten about a few seconds later, and it's something that you ruminate on. It's definitely not worth
wasting your energy on it.
Yeah. So you'll find that there's some people in life, some people want to learn about your condition and be, I don't want to say sympathetic because you don't want sympathy, but people will be more understanding, and there's people that just don't, and you can't really change that. So
no, those that want to learn and be educated will, but those that don't. And and you're right, it's not worth wasting energy. Move on. So thinking about some help and advice that we can give then to our listeners, I guess just summing up what we were discussing, it's important to remember that what you see on social media is other people putting their best sides forward. So try not to get hung up in comparing yourself to the images that people spend probably hours curating. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and it's like a final product, isn't it, that day?
Yeah, it's definitely not real. A bit like the fake environment that you were in hospital. It's not real.
No, it's not real.
And a lot of people that you see on social media won't have a brain injury. So it is unrealistic to compare yourself anyway to
That's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, because you do compare yourself, and I've not, often if you compare yourself to others with brain injuries, then you find you're not doing that bad. But I've never been one. I've tried to compare myself to people that trying to think of a better way to say normal people, but
non-brain injured people.
Neurotypical, I think, is
neurotypical. Yeah, I like that. It's neurotypical. And we talked about other ways of distracting yourself, whether it's getting in something like fitness. I know people that have used the fitness to get into fundraising for various charities. You've of course done your public speaking as well. You have done public speaking. I've done a lot of fundraising though as well. And I think the first thing I did, I think it was a 10K race, something like that. And I did a sponsorship for it, and I eventually did the first Great North Run. And it was a way that having a brain injury, it made me feel like useless. But this I didn't have a job. Everybody else had a purpose in life. I remember there was one quite depressing day that I was thinking, if I wasn't here, apart from my family and friends obviously being upset, I had made no difference to this world. But I think the first time I raised some money for a charity, I felt like I had a purpose, and that gave me a reason to get out of bed in the morning. That it brought all that back. So yeah. I think anything you can do for somebody else, because obviously all throughout your time in hospital, all throughout your time in recovery, it's all about you, and you think, how can I make things better for myself? And it becomes very, the whole thing's geared towards you becoming quite selfish. But if you then do some fundraising for a charity, or if you just do something for somebody else, just help with whatever, help anybody out, and you feel, from my experience, I felt so much better about it, and I felt like I had a purpose in life. Yeah, I think that's important. Distracting yourself with something that gives you purpose, whether it's for yourself, whether it's for other people, feeling value in what you do.
Yeah, a reason to get out of bed in the morning.
Absolutely.
I think
but at the same time, in moderation.
In moderation, yeah.
And not replacing one obsession with another. And I think the final point is, don't waste energy getting annoyed with people who don't understand and don't have any interest in understanding. There'll
be good people in your life. Not to say that everybody who doesn't take an interest is a bad person, but it's what you want to waste your energy on, isn't it? And there'll be people, family and friends, people who care about you, they will make an effort to understand your condition, and people who don't, then it's not worth worrying about, because
there are better things to focus on. In the next episode, we'll be talking about the dangers of comparing yourself to others after brain injury. Make sure you check out the footnotes for more help, advice and resources.